guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Damian. Happy Friday. I'm back with a Mr. Damian review for you guys today. So, 3 Disturbing True Blackout Horror Stories version, or Volume 2. I believe this was actually suggested by somebody. I've never actually had Mr. Damian videos suggested, or at least not in a long time. So, I don't know if this is a good one. Maybe it's like a better than normal video. I really don't know, but I guess we're gonna find out. So, 3 Disturbing True Blackout Horror Stories. Starting. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Just under 20 minutes long. It's so weird. I press and then it doesn't go down. It's odd. Anyways, we're back. Happy Friday. Hopefully you guys have some plans for this weekend. I have no plans at all. I'm off this weekend, which is fantastic. So maybe I'll film some more videos for you guys. Maybe I'll get some extra videos to come out. Hopefully, because I have no plans as always. So hopefully I can catch up on some more Damian. Anyways, let's go guys. 20 minutes, horror stories, blackout horror stories. So basically like the power going out, basically. George.
It was a chilly night in early March. This happened a couple years ago now. I had just gotten home from work. I was working late that night, so it was close to midnight by the time I walked through the door. I was beyond exhausted. I wanted nothing more than to crack open a freezing cold beer and throw my feet up on the couch.
Okay, I don't relate to that. But going home, passing out, basically dying, yep, that's me.
So that's exactly what I did. Alcohol always tastes better after a hard day's work. I didn't even turn on the TV immediately. I just sat there on the couch with my eyes closed and my feet elevated, trying to ignore the nagging thoughts about how stressful my life was. I remember getting frustrated while flipping through the channels because nothing was catching my eye. After sifting through for another few minutes, I ultimately gave up and opted to enjoy my beer in silence.
Okay.
Like everything else in my life, peace and quiet was apparently too much to ask for, because not 10 seconds later, all the lights in my house simultaneously shut off. You know that slightly fuzzy popping sound that comes a split second before everything shuts off? Yeah, there's nothing I hate more than hearing that noise. For whatever reason, our house had a tendency to lose power every so often. Now that I think about it, it still does. Anyway, my first reaction was to step outside and see if any of the neighboring houses were affected.
Yeah, obviously it's like see if there's a storm nearby, see if it's just you. If it's just you, then it's obviously isolated just to your area, but why, right? Like why did the power go out, right? That's obviously the main issue, or main question, what the fuck is happening?
I stepped outside and shut the door behind me, trying to preserve any heat that I might not be able to get back should I fail to restore the power. It was late, but I remember seeing at least one house on my block with their lights on, which confirmed that my house was the problem. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath.
Plus you can also look at all the streetlights too.
This headache would definitely spoil whatever pleasure I was hoping to salvage from the night. I turned back to go inside, but when I turned the handle on the front door, it wouldn't budge. I froze, confused at first. I tried the handle a few more times, but it was definitely locked. What the hell was going on? I banged on the door and called my wife's name, thinking maybe she had woken up without me realizing. There was no answer. I tried to peer through the glass, but it was still pitch black in there. I ran around to the back. That door was locked too. I started panicking. My wife had a tendency to leave doors unlocked, so it was weird that the back door would be locked in the first place. I ran around to the side of the house to check the breaker, and I froze my tracks. My hose, which I knew for a fact had been coiled, was laying in the grass just below the breaker box. The realization hit me like a freight train.
Why did someone spray the circuit box?
Someone had cut the power intentionally. Without thinking, I sprinted.
That doesn't make any sense. I was thinking like they opened the circuit box and like fucked something up in there, because obviously there would have to be a cover, right? Because obviously it rains all the time, right? If the box is outside, obviously it's waterproof, but maybe someone like opened it and like, I don't know, did something, but obviously they did, but just fucked up.
To the nearest window and desperately looked inside one more time. This time, I was able to make out 2 flashlights swinging around wildly in the dark, as if 2 people were rummaging through my house. They were. I knew they were stealing shit. I was infuriated. The nerve of someone to do this while I was literally home. I reached into my pocket to call the police, only to realize that I had left my phone on the couch. After cursing under my breath, I told myself I'd just run to the neighbor's house and borrow his phone. As I started making my way to the nearest house, another, more sinister thought hit me.
Your
My
wife.
wife was still inside.
Oh.
She was probably asleep,
Fuck,
vulnerable
bro.
to whoever was in the house. I couldn't hide. She was probably asleep, vulnerable to whoever was in the house. I couldn't leave her there, even for another minute. I sprinted back to my house and frantically grabbed some loose rocks from the yard. I started chucking them at our bedroom window, hoping to wake her up.
Oh, I was gonna say, you're trying to like break into your house? That's crazy, bro. Like, can you imagine being locked out of your own house like that? Like, you literally go outside because your power goes out, you're kind of seeing what's going on, and then you're locked out of your house. Like, this seems like the most bizarre story ever. This just seems so unlikely and like just so weird. Like, this would not happen, right?
After the third rock, she opened the window. Before she had a chance to say anything, I quietly told her what was happening and instructed her to hide in our closet. Her head disappeared immediately. She didn't ask questions. I then sprinted to my neighbor's house and banged on the door. I explained what was going on as quickly as possible, and then I used his phone to call the police. I waited on his porch, praying that my wife would be okay. The police eventually arrived, and I ran out to one of the cars, explaining the situation as best I could. They barged into the house, but by then, it was too late. The back door was wide open, and whoever had broken in was gone, with too many of our valuables to count. My wife was more shaken than I was, and understandably so. What she told me and the police made me angry at myself for not doing a better job at protecting her. To this day, I'll never forgive myself for leaving her in the house with potential murderers. Apparently, mere seconds after I instructed her to hide, she heard someone kick the bedroom door open. The person walked into the room and cocked a gun. He stood there motionlessly for a few seconds, clearly listening for anyone in the room. She said she had never been more terrified in her entire life.
Oh my god.
I believe the intruders heard me throwing the rocks at the window. The scariest part is that we still live in this house, and we're not planning on moving out anytime soon. Sometimes I think about what could have happened had I not stepped outside for those brief moments.
Holy fuck, bro, that's insane. Like, they cut your power. So not only did they... Like, how did they get in the house, though? Did they just break in? Like, through what window? Like, I don't understand. They got in somehow, obviously, but how'd they get in? I guess they never even mentioned that. People are just so fucked up, you know what I mean? Like, people are just trying to enjoy their nice night after coming home from work, and then imagine coming home from work and having to deal with that nonsense bullshit. Like, bro, I'm trying to sleep, I'm exhausted, then you're making me deal with this shit? Fuck off. Alex Gallo.
I've always lived in the shadow of my older brother. I'm not bitter about it, but it's just been the truth. He's got a successful business, and I've been trying to replicate that for the better part of 6 years now. I recently moved back in with my parents to try and find some footing. Going back home definitely felt like a step backward, but I didn't have many options. I was staying in the basement to keep out of their way as much as I could. It wasn't too bad down there. It was almost like a mini apartment. The basement had its own little kitchen, bathroom, office, bedroom, and even a TV with my old video games. With all that, I rarely went upstairs. I could pretty much live down there on my own, and it kept me from feeling like a total burden. One night, it was either Friday or Saturday, there was a pretty nasty storm blustering outside. Rain was hammering against the windows, and the wind was strong enough to rattle the whole house. I can't overstate the intensity of it. It was one of the wildest storms I had ever seen at that point.
Well, at least we know why the power went out because of the storm.
My parents were out of town for the weekend, so I had the place to myself, which was fine by me. I remember it being extra cozy down there that night. I love listening to a raging storm from the comfort of a warm bed, especially when it's late at night. There's something about hunkering down inside during a chaotic storm that really eases my mind. I was about to fall asleep to the soothing pattering of rain. The power suddenly went out. Everything clicked off at once, and I was left in total darkness. I groaned, annoyed at the inconvenience. I figured the storm must have knocked out the power.
No shit.
For a second, I thought about going to check the breaker, but I didn't feel like dealing with it. Not with the storm raging outside. Besides, I was about to go to bed anyway, and and I didn't really know where the breaker was to begin with. I figured I'd just wait it out and deal with it in the morning. As I lay there, trying to get comfortable again, I heard something. A loud, unnatural thud against one of the basement windows. It sounded heavy, like something had hit it hard. My first thought was that maybe a branch had come loose in the wind or a tree had fallen, but the sound was sharp and deliberate, not like anything I'd heard before. As lazy as I wanted to be, I couldn't ignore a fallen tree. That was a bit of a step up from a simple power outage. Reluctantly, I got out of bed and grabbed my phone, using the flashlight to make my way over to the window. The basement was pitch black, and the only sounds were the rain pelting the glass and the low rumble of the thunder outside.
I don't know, I just don't do basements. Like, bro, I hate basements so much that, like, it's just like, going at nighttime too, sometimes I'm just kind of like, Like, I'm recording this at 6:44 a.m. and I slept a bit after work, and I basically was up since like 3 in the morning now. Or 2 actually, yeah, 2. And now it's gonna become late outside, but yeah, like anytime it's like nighttime and it's like, I just don't like nighttime. Like nighttime, I've always been scared of nighttime. And I feel like most horror stories happen at nighttime, so I just don't like the nighttime.
I remember rubbing fuzzies out of my eyes to try and wake myself up a little bit. I held my phone up to the window, squinting through the glass, and nearly died from my heart stopping right there. There was a man's face pressed up against the window, and he was staring in at me. His eyes were wide, his skin pale and drenched, and for a split second, he made direct eye contact with me.
Bro.
As soon as he saw me looking, he moved away from the window. I stumbled back, almost dropping my phone for staring in at me. His eyes were wide, his skin pale and drenched. Looking, he moved away from the window. I stumbled back, almost dropping my phone in shock. What the f*** had I just seen?
Right?
I felt my heart starting to race. I could barely breathe, but I didn't have much time to process it because a few seconds later, I started hearing another sound, the sound of footsteps. I listened closely. The floorboards above my head were creaking gently. There were people in the house.
Oh my god.
Between what I had just seen and what I was hearing, I was on the verge of losing it. I was home alone, and my house was literally getting broken into. On top of everything, one of them knew I was in the basement. I couldn't think clearly with how severe the situation was. Everything was happening so fast, but I had no choice but to act.
Yeah, exactly.
I quickly checked my phone, ready to call the police. But then I remembered that power outage had knocked out the Wi-Fi, and with no cell service in the basement, I was trapped down there, totally cut off.
Oh my god.
I knew I couldn't just sit around and wait for these people to do whatever they'd come to do. I tried to calm myself, thinking through my options.
Hide.
I couldn't let those strange...
My thing would be go in the basement where there's somewhere that has cell reception, because there definitely should be. You definitely should have cell reception in your basement. It's really not that far down, like you're not going freaking 6 feet under. Well, I guess it is 6 feet under. You know what? Like, you know what I mean? It's not hella underground, like you should be able to have service. I do. It's obviously a bit fuzzy, but you should be able to even like even just doing this, that should be pretty damn good to get it like up a little bit. So grab a weapon, any kind of weapon, a knife, whatever is in your basement. Our basement's full of shit, anything really. And then hide somewhere that you can obviously, hopefully lock a door. In our basement, not really possible, but hide somewhere that you can. Grab a weapon. I probably have a lot of weapons in the basement, so don't fuck with me. And yeah, call the police. So find signal, get a bar, call the police, get a weapon, and hide.
Strangers just roam around my house, but I definitely didn't want to confront them head on. I was literally stuck in a lose-lose situation. I decided I'd try to sneak upstairs, skip out the front door quietly, and then call the police once I was outside. I didn't have another choice. Keeping my footsteps as quiet as possible, I made my way up to the basement stairs. I still remember the pure fear of that moment. You never know how your body's going to react to something traumatic until it happens.
Yes.
When I reached the top, I peered around the stairwell. My heart sank because I saw 3 figures with flashlights moving around my pitch black house.
Fuck.
I watched them for a few seconds, literally petrified. One of their flashlights panned across their body just long enough for me to make out what one of them was carrying. It was a gun.
Oh my god.
I froze. Every muscle in my body was tense. I didn't move. I just watched as they murmured to each other in low voices. That's when I heard one of them say something that escalated the situation even further, if that was even possible. In a calm, almost casual voice, one of them said, "Alex is in the basement. Go find him."
Alex, they know his name. Oh my god. Oh my god. Fuck, that's so terrifying.
I can't describe the terror I was feeling. How the fuck did he know my name? I backed down the stairs as quietly as I could, trying to keep my breathing steady, but inside, I was losing my shit entirely. I knew I didn't have much time. They were coming for me, and I had no idea what was going to happen once they found me. I looked around frantically, considering potential hiding spots. There wasn't time. I needed to get the hell out of there in the next minute, or I was going to die. The only possible way out was through one of the basement windows, but they were all sealed from the inside. I had no other choice. I grabbed a nearby stool, climbed up one of the window wells, and smashed the glass with my elbow. Shards of glass flew everywhere, but I didn't care. I scrambled through the broken window, pulling myself out into the rain. I felt the cuts all over my body, but I didn't have time to register the pain with the adrenaline and fear coursing through my veins. The downpour soaked me instantly, and I ran through the mud, trying not to slip. Once I was a safe distance from the house, I finally got a signal and called the police. I remember my hands shaking so hard I could barely hold the phone. By the time the police searched the house, whoever had been in there was long gone. So much stuff had been stolen, I'm not even going to bother listing everything that was taken. The power outage had been intentional, no surprise there. My parents were livid and threatened to kick me out of the house. I basically had to beg them not to, insisting that there was nothing else I could have done. They eventually calmed down, but I'm still pretty shaken by the whole ordeal. I still have no idea who those people were or how they knew my name. I hate thinking about what might have happened had they found me.
Bro, these horror stories just make me like terrified, bro. Like, I'm not joking. Like, this is not it. I'm sorry, this is not it. Oh, thank God, it's getting to be daylight soon. Oh, safe time. Basically, I don't consider daytime safe time, but like I basically consider safe time and not safe time. Safe time and scary time. And now we're just ending scary time and ending safe time, so I like it. And again, not really safe time, but yeah, you guys are good. You guys get me. You guys feel me. That's honestly terrifying, bro. Like, just, bro, like, I'm just imagining someone in my house right now while I'm in the basement. They have a gun. Okay, let's go get Damian. What the fuck? Oh my God.
I live in a quiet suburban area, but there are a lot of more densely populated towns within driving distance of me. A few months ago, I picked up a night shift security job at a warehouse a few towns.
Bro, I work in security. Is that why you guys suggested this to me? I'm pretty sure it was you, James, that suggested this video. I think. I don't know.
It was situated in this industrial space that stretched on for miles. The building itself was isolated with rows and rows of tall metal shelves and a couple of big loading docks.
Okay.
The work was easy. Routine checks, basic security, making sure everything stayed locked up. It was quiet. Usually too quiet, but I didn't mind. I liked the solitude, and most nights I could finish my shift without much happening.
Okay.
It was a Thursday night, and it
Must be nice.
was pouring out. I was checking my phone every so often for updates on the storm, as I wasn't too keen on having to drive home in those conditions. Luckily, there wasn't much for me to do that night, so I at least had that going for me. The power in the warehouse flickered a few times, but held steady, so I wasn't too worried. But about an hour in, the power finally gave out, plunging the whole warehouse into pitch black darkness.
I'd be terrified.
I was pissed. I was the only employee there that night, so the responsibility for restoring the power was mine. I had obviously been prepped for a situation like this, but I never thought I'd ever have to actually deal with it. I stepped out of my little security room to begin the process. They had instructed me to unplug some of the massive machines before checking the breakers, so that's what I went to do. My flashlight was the only source of light in the whole place. It was
That's honestly literally terrifying.
creepy as hell.
Yeah.
The silence felt thicker in the dark, and every creak of the building seemed louder without the hum of the lights. My footsteps echoed like 100 times louder too, which was definitely an odd feeling. As I was patrolling one of the aisles, I heard a loud, metallic clattering echoing from somewhere deeper in the warehouse. It startled me, but I brushed it off as the storm rattling the roof or the metal shutters.
Sorry, kind of got interrupted, but not really. I'll back up like 15 seconds.
Rattling the roof or the metal shutters. Still, I decided to check it out, aisle by aisle. When I rounded one corner, I froze. A faint beam of light was moving along the shelves up ahead. It looked just like my own flashlight. It clicked off as quickly as I had seen it, but I had definitely seen it. No one should have been there until the morning, though.
Yikes.
I felt my heart start to race. Why the hell would someone else be in here? I debated calling out, but ultimately decided against it. When I reached the spot where I'd seen the light, it was gone. The aisle was empty, just rows of crates and shelves stacked high with inventory. I started freaking out, knowing I wasn't going crazy. I knew what I saw. I had a job to do, though. I debated calling the police, but wasn't sure if what I had seen would be enough.
Yeah.
I guessed there was a slight chance I could have imagined it. In hindsight, had the company not equipped me with a taser, I probably would have just called the police right there. As I continued my patrol, a strange
Well, at least you have some kind of weapon, right?
smell hit me. A musty, metallic odor, like rusted metal or stagnant water. The smell was coming from one of the loading bays, a darker part of the warehouse where crates were stacked up floor to ceiling. I followed the smell with my flashlight, and that's when I noticed something odd. My beam reflected off the polished concrete floor, revealing two sets of wet footprints leading into one of the storage aisles. In that moment, I wanted to run in the opposite direction and call the police, but I couldn't just yet. If anyone was poking around, it was on me. That was literally my job. Curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to follow the trail. I kept my flashlight low, not wanting to make it obvious where I was. As I got closer, I started hearing faint whispers, just barely audible, like two people having a conversation a few aisles away. I couldn't make out the words, but something about the tone sounded tense, almost urgent. I clicked off my flashlight and held my breath, trying not to make any noise. I gripped my taser and crept closer to the whispering. As I turned the corner, I raised my flashlight to confront whoever was there, but there was honest to God no one in front of me.
What?
The whispering had also stopped, which was pure insanity. They had literally been right in front of me. How the hell had they disappeared so quickly? The whole situation had me rattled. I decided that I wasn't getting paid enough for this, so I decided to just make a beeline for the circuit room and get the power on without worrying about my other tasks. I made it there and started fumbling around with the breakers in the dark. As I was doing that, I heard something scrape across the floor nearby. I swung my flashlight around and spotted the edge of the metal tool lying just a few feet away. A crowbar. It hadn't been there before. This was serious now. Whoever was in there with me had potentially malicious intentions. I yelled out that I was armed, which was kind of a half-bluff considering the taser. I needed to get out of there as fast as possible. My nerves were shot at that point, but I knew my life was more valuable than whatever consequences I'd face for leaving. As I was heading for the door, a loud, metallic crash echoed from the far end of the building, followed by the unmistakable sound of rushing footsteps. I felt a surge of adrenaline and started running toward the noise. I turned the corner, and there they were. Standing in the middle of the aisle were two figures dressed all in black. One of them was holding a crowbar identical to the one I had just walked past.
Fuck, bro.
They looked at me for a split second, and then, without warning, started sprinting directly towards me.
Fuck.
I didn't think. I just turned and ran. All the confidence I had just mustered up was gone. I could hear their footsteps pounding behind me, but I didn't dare look back. I weaved through the aisles, praying that I'd be able to navigate this place better than they could. After what felt like an eternity, the footsteps faded. I paused, catching my breath, and realized they weren't chasing me anymore. Eventually, I made my way toward the exit door and stepped outside. I immediately called the police and begged them to come as quickly as possible. They actually arrived pretty quickly, which I was thankful for. Of course, those two strangers were long gone by then, But the officers were really helpful, and even helped me get my power back up.
Okay.
My boss was not as sympathetic, though. He gave me shit for running, and I almost lost my job over the whole incident. I still can't get over how strange the whole encounter was.
Well, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to die? Like, it's 2-on-1, first of all. I'm in a black-ass building. There's literally nothing. Like, what do you know?
Like, it was clear that those people were messing with me, but they still chased me with a weapon. The worst part is I still work nights in that warehouse, although my boss did start putting at least 2 people on the shift every night. I still don't know what to make of the whole thing. I'm just glad those guys didn't catch up to me.
Obviously, I can't, like, I know that security and police thing is obviously, like, private. Like, you obviously can't reveal incidents. Of course, obviously being in security, I've had stories myself, but, like, I'm not going to share anything, obviously, with you guys, but definitely nothing that crazy. But, damn, bro, fuck. So, that felt like a long video, even though it wasn't that long. So, getting mad at your son for not doing anything but escape as well. Yeah, like, what the fuck do you want me to do? How the parents were angry at their kid in story 2 is saddening and relatable. I feel bad for the lad in the second story. What a perfect way to alienate your child. Alienate? I don't know what pissed me off more. When the parents getting mad that the guy didn't risk his life to save their valuables, or story 3 when the guy had said he had to basically practically beg his boss to not hire him for, again, not risking his life. That's honestly insane. Like, why the hell would I risk your life? Fuck you, like. Dude forgot wife in house with armed intruders. Parents got mad at kid for not defending valuables. Boss got mad because employee ran away. What the hell is wrong with people? For real though, like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? I'm not gonna blame the guy too much. Like, obviously he forgot his wife was in the house, which I get it. Like, in the split of the moment you might forget, which I fully understand. So I guess I can't really be too hard on him, I guess. Imagining threatening to kick your son out or for not guarding the house with his life when someone broke in. OP saying OP or op saying he lived in his brother's shadow. It makes sense, to be honest. Glad there's no resentment towards the brother, but the parents sound like they have favorites. Scooby-Doo taught us a long time ago that the worst monsters are always human. And I thought every parent would love their kid no matter what. No, definitely that's not the case. You're stupid if you actually thought that was the case. Like, you'd think so, but no, it's not how it works. No. The second, third story make me so mad. Like, why are they mad that people choose to run away instead of risking their lives over replaceable items? Exactly. Like, why the fuck would I risk my life for that? Fuck you. That makes me so sad about the parents doing what they did do to him. They need to understand that there wasn't anything else he could do. Parents shouldn't have been angry, and that's sign story number 2. Happiness I felt when see Mr. Nightmare post. Second story was horrifying. I can't imagine how scary that would be in his shoes. Honestly, it's terrifying. Both story 2 and 3 were horrifying. Well, what was he supposed to do? Exactly, like a fucking gun, bro. Like, they knew your name and everything. They're about to kill you. And mom, dad, it's fine. I don't care if they would have killed you. I just want my valuables. Like, what the fuck, bro? Come on. I have no recollection when I first found Mr. Emma's channel, but I get excited every time he uploads. An absolute legend he is. He honestly is a legend. My friend, I think like 10 years ago, introduced me to him, so it's been a long time since I've heard of his stories. So I think I started getting into them like 7 years ago, or 7 to 8 years ago. So it's been a long time. The fuck you mean your boss got mad from people chasing you with crowbars? Nah, I would have quit. And still got to work night shift even after just what happened moments ago. That's honestly so fucked up, bro. Like, I do night shifts and everything too. Can it be scary, uneasy? For sure, but anything like that, that's just insane. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys liked it, please be sure to give it a like, comment down below, be sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications. Damn. Let me know what you guys thought, because that was honestly insane. Insane, terrifying, horrifying, petrifying, all the above. Can't wait to watch reactions to this one. With that being said, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next video. Be sure to subscribe to myself and Mr. Nightmare, and turn on post notifications. Deuces. Peace.